Hello everyone, welcome to the Open Source Cafe organized by the DeCodeCafe Community. For today's event, we have with us Janvi Thakkar. She is a Google Summer of Code mentee under Scorelab and she's also an LFX mentee with Moja Global. In today's podcast, we'll talk about her journey and how she became a part of these programs. So, Janvi, please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Hello everyone. Hello Shivangi. Myself Janvi Thakkar. I am currently a pre-final year student in Information Technology Department of LD College of Engineering, Ahmedabad. I am currently I recently got selected for Google Summer of Code under Scorelab, and I also got selected as Linux Foundation Mentorship Program under Moja Global. Uh, re- Previously, I have worked as software engineer at Digital Product School Germany and Summarchar AI Media Labs, and I have done some other internships in web develop as a web developer. So yeah.
That is amazing, Janvi. You have done some amazing work. Okay, so let's get started with the questions. First of all, I want you to tell me more about Moja Global, like its code base and its documentation, everything which can make a beginner familiar with Moja Global, and what are all the things that one should know before contributing to it.
Okay, so Moja Global is a non-profit platform. It brings the community together and it develops open source softwares. Like it allows user to accurately and affordably estimate the greenhouse gas emissions and all those things. Like we are seeing the climate change a lot in past some years, and Moja Global is actively working on that phase. So, if I talk about the code base, so Moja Global's code base is totally friendly. Uh, like many people, if you go to the Slack channel of Moja Global, you would see a lot of people coming in every day and try to introduce themselves, try to communicate with other peoples, and try to get bond with other community members. So it is a beginner friendly. I would say a friendly organization.
Okay, so like if you can share your screen and take us to the current repository of Moja Global and guide how to contribute to it, that would be
Okay,
really nice.
sure. Uh, just a minute. Is it visible?
Okay, yes, it is visible.
Okay. So, as you can see, this is the Moja Global's repository, and here are listed some detailed info about Moja Global and how to get involved. How you can contribute to the system. It is well maintained documentation, like what are the projects, what are the goals of the projects, and all those things. So once you come to this page, you can find about what is Moja Global, what Moja Global is doing, how you can get involved, and other things like what are the projects here. You can get details about what is the project about. And what I did, I came here, I contributed to this project. This is Flint UI. Why I chose this project? Because the name itself is suggesting the UI. I read about it. What is the Flint UI doing? I got to know that Flint UI is web interface and it is helping in the simulation of Flint Cloud APIs, which is developed by Moja Global. So I was already having interest in front end, so I started contributing to this project. I went to this project, and you can see here are some issues open. And what Moja Global does is they always try to make things clear, like this is documentation, this is bug, this is beginner friendly issues. So if you are a beginner friendly person, you can click to the beginner friendly issues or good first issues, right? And then you can look at the issues, what kind of issues these are. So if I click on this, you can see that this is related to documentation, and people are communicating on these issues as well. So you can try to get info about the issues. Then you can the first and foremost thing is to like fork the repository. So you can clone repository from here, fork in your your machine and run it as per the given info. So they does give the info, all kind of info here, like how, what are the prerequisite, what are the steps to installation and all those things. So you can follow this, and if you have any kind of problem, we have Slack channel, and you can get to know everything from the Slack channel. So first I would suggest you that if anyone is coming to Moja Global, please join their Slack channel, because everything is there, everyone is there to helping you. Once you go there, you will see that people are just let me get you there. So this is the Slack channel. I will put the link. uh, I will try to share the link. Just a minute.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So whenever someone is coming in, you can see that many people many people are coming in here daily, and they try to introduce themselves. You can introduce yourself, and our mentors will help you to get started, like what are your interests and all those things, and you will get to know what kind of project you are suited for. And then you can go through the repository and check what is actually suited for you, and then you can do the process of cloning, then check doing all the installation steps, and yeah, that's pretty much.
That was really informative, Janvi. So, like, how long have you been contributing to Moja Global?
So my journey in Moja Global started from March, because at the beginning, when I started to open source, I was knowing the mentor of Moja Global because of LinkedIn. I had connected with him a long time ago. I was knowing what he is doing and all those things, but I started like after knowing what is the exact motto. Because if you choose any organization and there is no motto of doing something, you would just do something and then you will get vanished after some time. If you have some goals with you, you will stick to the organization. So Moja Global's motto is something that was fascinating to me, and that's why I started with Moja Global. I joined their community Slack channel. I introduced myself and I tried to ask help from other people. They pretty well guided me, and that's how I started.
Okay. Um, so, like, you already mentioned that you connected with the mentor on the LinkedIn channel before
Yeah.
before you started contributing. Okay.
Yes.
So, what about Scorelab? Like, how you started your contribution with Scorelab?
Okay, so how my journey with Scorelab started when back in December 2021, I was searching for Google Summer of Code organizations, and I listed few of them. Scorelab was one of them, because I listed all the organization based on what are their like preferences, what kind of tech stack they use, what kind of technology on their work, what is their mission, and how many projects they contribute in every Google Summer of Code. So you can see all the past history of any organization on Google Summer of Code's archive, right? So if you check the archive, you will get idea about every project that got selected in past. So I checked all the project, and firstly I tried for 2 3 projects of Scolab, and yeah, that's how I started with Scolab.
Okay. And how did you connected with the mentors at Scorelab?
So I would suggest, like, I did a mistake at that time, and I would suggest that no one should that do that mistake. I was totally beginner at that time, and what I did was I contacted message like send the connection request. It is not bad thing, but I messaged him about like Scorelab on LinkedIn itself, instead of messaging on GitHub channel or public channel. So I this is the first thing I would suggest to any beginner. Like, if you are going to any organization, please don't contact mentor directly on other things. Instead, try to connect on public channels, so that if he or she is busy, he or other people will guide you, so you will not get lost in that case. So I tried to contact him on LinkedIn. Other than that, I contacted one or two contributors, like past contributors on LinkedIn and their public channel, and also I introduced myself on public channel. What are my interests? What are the technologies I work? And some of the mentors guided me, like how should I get started with the Scorelab.
Okay, and let's now talk about the proposals that got accepted in these amazing programs. So, like, if you can give some tips on how you created your proposal with Moja Global as well as with Scorelab.
So first, I would talk with proposal of GSOC with Scolab. So I was contributing to the project since December or January. It was in initial phase. I was initializing my open source journey, right? So I was not that much fascinated, like how should I do the things and all those stuff. So what I did was I started with small contributions. I like some small UI fixes and all those things. If something is not clickable, if something is on not right position, and that's how I started. You don't need to do a big stuff on the beginning, right? No one is expecting you to do big things at the beginning. So I started with small and gradually increased my level of contributions. So when I started with CodeLabs project, I first forked the repository, cloned it to my machine, installed some things, and I had some problems in installation at that time. So what I did was I contacted some people on public channel. I mentioned some of them and how can I get started, how the installation would get completed and all those things. So if you are stuck, like don't get fear of it. It happens with everyone. You are just a step away to asking someone for the help, right? So go to their public channel and ask for the help, and I guess most of the people would be happy to help you if they are knowing the things. So I was having issues with Firebase, and there were some issues regarding plans. So I contacted the other contributors, and I got this sorted by some after some days. And yeah, that's how I started. After that, I was pretty well going because I had some PRs and all those things. I was communicating with mentors, like how should I do my next steps and all those things. And after that, I also helped some of the new contributors. Like I joined in December, right? So by the time of February or March, I was knowing almost things, that how new contributors would get stuck. If I could get stuck at something, someone else would also. So I helped them in the same things, or by even doing Google Meets. So yeah, that's how I help them.
That is amazing.
Yeah. And then when the time came, I started drafting my proposal. I was knowing most of the things regarding my what is the project and all those things. Still, we were having some pre-GSOC tasks, like I have to design in Figma files, then I have to implement in Storybook and in React. So all those things I did, and I was communicating with mentors if I was getting stuck in those things. And by the time my internship was also going on, so I was having some kind of breaks in between. And that's what the reason I was not that much consistent during contributions. But what I did was try to do things when you are free, then try to do small things when you have less time, right? And try to give yourself a break when you are totally stuck, like you are exhausted. So if you try to do things when you are exhausted, you are not going to get any kind of solution. So that's how I did. I gave myself some small breaks, and I think that worked for me. And I would suggest everyone, if you are stuck, after trying a lot, give yourself a break of 1 or 2 days, and like you will start with a lot more energy. And then I started with my proposal in last some days. So this was the second mistake I did. Like I waited for the time when GSOC accepting the proposal. It was not my choice, but it was my internship which make me feel that I should not start early drafting a proposal. So I started drafting proposal for Codelabs, and I was having pretty much things up. Like I was knowing most of the things about Codelabs, so I took one old contributors proposal as a reference, and like it's freely available on internet, right? Many proposals are there on GitHub, so you can look at those proposals. I did that. Then what I did was I started looking at other people's like other contributors' proposal. Then I went on Code Labs channel, and I saw that mentor said that like we are having some kind of fixed template on which we have to fill the things, and we have to answer things and make our proposal right. So I did that. I added all the Figma designs I did. Then I added all the storybook things I did in the pre-GSOC task, and that's how I drafted my proposals. I answered most of the questions, and I took most of the time of I was having time of 15 to 17 days in drafting the proposal, and I used my time consistently and very well. And at the end of like two before 1 or 2 days, I submitted my proposal. But in between, I what I did was I was continuously updating my mentors regarding what I did in my proposal, what he expect me to change, and he was guiding me throughout it. So that's how I drafted my proposal.
That is very, very inspiring, Janvi. So, like throughout your contribution period, you were connection with all your mentors. So you
Yeah.
were contacting them throughout your contribution period.
Yeah. And even one thing I would like to share, even after the contribution phase over and you draft a proposal, don't get disappeared, because most of the people do this mistake. They got disappeared once their proposal is submitted. They just think that we have submitted the proposal. Now it's mentor's turn. They will look at our proposal and they will select us based on what we have drafted. But what the mentor would look is one of the major factor is your consistency and your dedication. So if you are not dedicated, you would just get disappeared once you draft the proposal. And that is one of the key point which like many people do this mistake. So don't get disappeared once your proposal is drafted or submitted. Try to get touch in with your mentors, try to contribute more on more and more things. And even if you didn't get, like even if you don't get selected, try to continuous contribute, because it's open
Yes.
source. Like it was not GSOC why you started open source, it's open source why you landed to GSOC, right? So yeah, that was my strategy.
Okay, so you mentioned that we were also doing internship in your
Yeah.
contribution period. Okay,
Yeah.
so one thing that like most of the students from tier 2 and tier 3 colleges, they do not get internship in their college, right? There are no internships, on campus internship. So they tend to do more such programs, open source programs. So this
Yeah.
question is, I think this is very suitable for you because you did internship as well as open source together. So how would you
Yeah.
compare an open source program with an internship?
So I would answer this question a little bit later. First, I would mention that I am also from tier three, and I am also the person who was not getting internship through campus, because not any company visit our campus, right? So you should be just aware about opportunities around you, because opportunities are very much, but you are not well aware to get the opportunity. And maybe your mindset is not right, maybe your peers pressure is not right for you, like that's why you are not starting to do any internship. So that's the one thing. And the second thing, what you mentioned, how internship and open source are different. So open source in one, like both of them are pretty different in themselves, and the end goal is same, to build a sustainable software, right? So both of things have their own pros. Like from internship you might get a chance to work with many people in the group projects, and you would get your task assigned by other people, and you would be guided throughout it. And that's how internship work, because you work under manager or senior software engineer and all those people, right? On other hand, you in the open source, you might be working under the mentor's guidance, right? The mentors are also in the field of software engineering, so don't think like you will not get proper guidance. But one thing you have to be aware of is that you should have patience after asking for help, because no one is free for you, uh, just to answer you, because they have their own work, their own jobs, and they do open source in free time. So don't just get frustrated because someone hasn't answered you from 1 or 2 days. So that's the key difference, because in internship you would have person, you just message and after some time you would get reply. But in case of open source, you should have patience to get the answers. Other thing, in software engineering, any internship of software engineering, you must be writing code or testing things or all those things, right? And in open source, most of the case, you have to write code, you have to test, you have to communicate with other people, collaborate with them, and also sometimes you might have to write documentation. So that's how they both things are different, because in open source you would get to do all those things together, and in software engineering internship you might have to do specific tasks. So yeah.
Okay, let's move to the next question. So this is a very important question. Like, what should be the right mindset of a student who wants to kickstart with open source in general? And what if you don't get selected to these programs like GSOC or LFX?
So first thing first, there are lots of programs, and they come each after each, right? Each after each. Suppose LF, if I talk about LFX, it get opens every 3 months. So if I contributed for LFX and I didn't get selected, I have a chance for after 3 months. So if you continuously contribute to that project, your mentor will be aware of your persistence and your consistency, right? And they would know that yes, this person is interested to do this thing, and there is a pretty much chance that the person would give you a chance, another chance to prove yourself. And that's how open source work. So first thing first, whenever you start with open source, don't just go because of some kind of stipend or lucrative uh, programs. You should do open source for learning new things. Like in my current LFX term, I and my mentor discuss, and I am currently working on the project and technologies which I don't know. So in LFX, we get to learn a lot of things. Mentor would guide you, like how should I learn, and then I would work on things. So in open source, I would suggest that just don't rush after the programs. Rush after learning new things, and that would help you in long run, right? And other thing is that you should never try to contact people other than public channel. Have patience, and just don't get disheartened if you don't get selected in one program. There are lots of programs, and you can do amazing after some time. If not now, then after some time.
Okay. So you mentioned about LFX. Like there are other open source programs too. We have talked
Yeah.
about GSOC and LFX. Like if you want to talk about other open source program, uh,
Yeah. So I would say there are lots of program, like there is one post ACS program, another one is release summer of code something, another one is outreachy, then Google summer of code, Google season of docs, then Linux foundation, the LFX one, and other like girl script summer of code. So you can start with any of the program. Girl script summer of code most accept most of the contributors. So if you are totally beginner, I would suggest that you can try even hack October first, because in that time most of the people start their open source journey and then they try to contribute more and more to get selected in other programs, right? So just don't look at stipend or don't look at the name of program. Try to contribute as much as possible, as much as you can, and get the knowledge. And after you have some specific kind of knowledge, you can contact with people, contact to the people, and you might get some chance in other organizations as well. And
Yes.
another thing is that most of the open source like organizations try to they try to participate in as much as programs possible, because they don't have people like who are ready to work for in any situation like consistently. So if you are trying to suppose I tried for Google summer of code in Moja Global as well, and I ended up with LFX. So this is the example which I like, the thing I told you, that if you don't get in one, you might get a chance in another one. So try to contact the organization, connect with the organization which take in more and more program if you are looking to get in at least one of the programs.
Yes. So, like, you should contribute to as many programs as you can. And if you're contributing to one organization,
Yeah,
you should look for all the other programs that organization is a part of.
yeah, and
So,
even
it's. Hmm.
yeah, even if you are not contributing to specific organization, they might be aware of that you contributed to this much organizations in past. So in GitHub everything is open, so they can see your contributions and they can judge you based on that as well for another programs.
Okay, so for example, if I've contributed earlier to any organization, and if I try to apply for LFX this year to any other organization, so
Yeah.
they will take account of the previous contributions that I have done.
Yeah, most of the case, you like they prefer people who have contributed to their organization, but they also know like in open source you can go to any door and try to contribute. So they also know the efficiency of the person's contribution by other people, like other organization, what they do in other organizations. So yeah, most of the case they would count the other contributions as well.
Okay, that is really nice. So, and you also mentioned that for Moja Global, the project you were selected, you are not aware of the tech stack. So
Yeah.
that can happen, right? They can select you for a different project. You might have applied for a different one.
No, that was not a case. Actually, maybe I mislead you, or you might get something wrong. But what was the case? Like there were two, three projects I was interested, right? And LFX meant to be learning. So if you are learning something, then your LFX is going pretty well. So what my mentor suggested, he suggested me some of the like projects, and I have to work on different projects. It's not like I select one project and I would just work on it. I will be working on two projects simultaneously. So one is which like I have been contributed to from some time, and the another one is totally new to me. So it happens like you don't know the tech stack, you don't know the other things about project, but you can learn anyway and you can contribute.
Okay. Okay. So So this is one. So like you mentioned that you are in your pre-final year, and you are doing so many things. Like you were doing an internship. You are also now part of two open source programs. So how you manage your time? Because yeah, you must also be preparing for your placements. So how you're managing everything now?
So, like what is happening as of now, I was having exams just before some days, and in open source you get freedom. You can connect to the mentors, tell them what kind of problems you have, what kind of hurdles you have in the way, and you can tell them everything, and they would try to adjust timelines accordingly. So during my exams, I was my community bonding period was going on, and like in that time I was not supposed to code for the project, so like I was able to manage it. But for Moja Global, my LFX term was starting from the day when my exam was starting. So I communicated with the mentor, and he suggested me like you can do if you can, like if you can manage both things together, or in other case you can start after some days when your exam get over. So you can give some extra time to some things, and you will be fine. And as you asked for like how I am managing all the things together, so when I was doing internship, my timing was pretty like bounded, because I have to work as the time of German. So it was like from 1:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. or something, and I should be available for that entire time. And after that, what I was trying to whatever time I get in the breaks, or whatever time I can manage by doing tasks earlier, I would devote that timing to do some other stuff. Like if I have some time of 15 to 20 minutes, I would just look at the issues, or if I can get the new issues. Because for Moja Global, I was also helping other people by creating other issues for beginners. So that's how I was managing with internship. And for placements, like I I am yet to decide how I would do all the things together, because the exit period of contribution is now started for me. So I will be trying to give 2-3 hours for specific placement related preparation, and other timing for both the projects. Like if I can do some task in smaller amount of time, then I can give that time to my preparation. And yeah, try that how I will try to manage.
Um, and I've also heard that people get full-time opportunities with their open source contributions too. So that is also a plus point that you are doing so many things that you can get even good opportunities with your open source programs you're a part of.
Yeah. So, what is the case? Like in some of the organizations, someone is handling things. So, there is a chance that you might get internship or placement after, like, because open source organizations also have some positions of software engineers, or project leaders, or that kind of position. So you can always, like if you have contributed to some projects of their like their own organization, they would be happy to have you, because you know the code base, you know the people, and they also know you pretty well. So that's how they might offer you some opportunities. Or in other case, suppose some mentor is working with you and guiding you throughoutly, so he or she must be aware like what are your strong points, what is the technology you work on, and what are the things which is unique in you. So in that case, he or she might refer you to the friends or other like companies where they have previously worked, or anything like that. So that is how the chain reaction works. And yeah, you may get other opportunities through contributing to open source.
That is really awesome. um, okay, so let's see if we have some questions. I don't think we have questions in the chat. Come on, guys, ask some questions. Okay, so you started your project was of React and Scorelab.
Yes, yes. It is in React, Redux, and
Hmm.
Firebase.
Okay, so even I am doing React Redux right now, so I'll check the Scorelab project.
Sure. Actually, what is unique about Scorelab organization? They have projects about almost every fields. So they are researching in every field like cloud computing, web development, app development, and anything you would search for. So if you
Hmm.
have any kind of experience in past, or if you are working on any technology right now, you can check their projects, and you most probably you would find that there is a project for you. If there is one skill missing, you can learn one or two things missing, you can
Yes.
surely learn.
Okay, so we have one question in the chat. So Bhavya asked, how can we understand code base in the beginning? So like when you have started contributing, so yes, it really gets overwhelmed seeing all the big code base.
Yeah, that happens. So what happens is, if you see at any project's description, you would get the steps of installation, what the things are like, how the things are there, and all those stuff. And what you can do is, you can clone the project in your local machine, and then try to run it. You can check all the, all the folders one by one, and you would get pretty much introduction. And you can look at descriptions of the things, and if you are stuck, you can ask to mentors like how things are going on in this project.
Okay. There is one another question about solid JS. I'll put that on screen. So Sahil is asking, solid JS is familiar to React JS but with extremely efficient reactivity built in. Have you thinked with it yet?
Sorry, Sahil, but I haven't. But what you can do is, you can check other tutorials or YouTube videos, and maybe you would get some guidance regarding that.
Okay. I don't see any other question in the chat. Okay, till we get. Okay, we have another question about best environment. Hmm. Best. Okay, I'll put that on the screen. So Sahil asked another question. What about best environment in all the languages you have used so far?
Uh, Best environment, like what? I didn't get the question properly.
Sahil, if you can specify what do you mean by the best environment? Okay, to that I can ask you. Okay, he asked for tooling. What's tooling? I don't get it. I
I even don't. See,
Sahil.
in the world of technology, there are many things and there are many technologies, and most
Hmm.
of the people who use one thing and stick to one things
Hmm.
might not be knowing others, because they work on specific projects and specific technology, and you can always change the technology, learn new things whenever required. So yeah, I am not knowing what he is asking right now.
No problem. Like I can ask one question. You said that you did the project of React. So like I think, and you also mentioned that you are a web developer. So maybe if you can talk about how did you started your journey with web development.
Okay, so when I was in my second year, sorry, in first year, we were having one hackathon named Smart Gujarat Hackathon, and our team like friends participated in it. None of us was having knowledge of web development at that time, but we asked some of our seniors like, what should we do? What kind of tech stack we should use, and we got to know that we can start with PHP and like HTML, CSS, and all those things. And I was not learning, like I was not having knowledge of programming before joining the college. So I we all started at that time, and we started watching YouTube tutorials, some W3 school tutorials, and all those things, and that's how I started with web development. Then after some time, one of the project in my college was going on by some people, which was regarding selling books. Like if you have used some book and after your semester get over, you might need to change the book, but you have to pay something 20% or some kind of cost while you exchange. So in that case, what they did is, you are a senior and you have one junior who want to buy the book, so you can cut down that 20% or 30% cost by giving them the book. And that's how the like some senior of you give you the book, some other people, I give my book to my juniors, and that's how they were doing. So I got interested and I mailed you that I want to learn, like I want to work with you guys. So they asked me about my introduction and what I can accomplish and how I may help you. I was totally beginner at that time, and that's how, like it was in Firebase, so I learned Firebase at that time, and I tried to work with them. After some time I got like in our college, our HOD ma'am has having one link to the person who want to make a project regarding their catering website. So they suggested that we are going to select some of the people for doing this project. And it was like it was not paid project, but if you want to get exposure you can try. So they gave us some task, and we all performed the task, and based on the task we did, they selected people. So that was my first internship. It was totally unpaid. And after doing that website with my team members, I got there was one coding club named Coder Club. It was in my college, and they started teaching web development. So I learned web development, some of the things from them. And then they did one competition to make websites, and I was one of the three winners of the website development competition. And after that they offered us internship, and that was also unpaid because that was a college club. And I got to brush up my skills during that time. After that I got contacted by one of the recruiter of Samachar. Like they saw my profile, and they were working in Ahmedabad. So they saw my profile, and like she asked me if we can connect on call, and she gave me total intro about Summarchar, what they do, and all those things. And after that, what I did was she suggested me that I have to work on either Angular or maybe in future with React. So I was not knowing Angular or React at that time. So what I said her, like, I am ready to learn. Just give me a task and I will perform the task. I will give you the result, and then you can decide whether take me or not. And that's how I she gave me one project to make in Angular JS, Angular 8, and I made the project. I completed the task, and after completion of task, there was one interview when there was a code walk through the project. and I have to let them know how I wrote the code, what is meaning of assigning this value to this, and all those things. And I passed the interview. I got offer that yes, I can. I can I can join them as a software engineer, and it was the first paid opportunity in my journey. After, like, I worked, there was a contract of 6 months for the internship, but after 6 months, like during that 6 months, I got to work on Angular 8, and after some time we switched to React. So I have to learn React as well. I learned that, I worked on that, and after completion of 6 months, they extended the offer, and so I worked at Summarchar for, I guess, 9 months in total, and then I got opportunity from Digital Product School. I applied to, like, their application from their site, and I got selected. I was given a task, and what I was given a task. There was no timeline to submit the task, but some of the people who got selected in past suggested me that try to complete in 5 or 7 days to get selected, so that your chances of getting interview might get increased. So I submitted the whole project in 4 to 5 days, and then I got the call of interview, and like, it was my first international interview, so I was quite scared, but I tried, like, give it a shot, whatever happens, let's see whatever happens. And eventually I got selected. There were kind of 90 people, and they selected something like 15 people for the internship. Yeah. And yeah, I worked there for almost 3 months, and by that time I also started with open source. So I was continuously in touch of the technologies, and I was working continuously. So yeah, that's how I my journey with web development is going on.
Okay, that is very, very inspiring. So, like, you did many internships, some unpaid, and then you finally got a paid internship offer. So, and you also got an international offer. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is like, how did you know about these opportunities?
So I would like to share one group which is a community named CodeScript. So they are having one WhatsApp group, and I was getting some opportunities by like, got list of opportunities regularly there. And other than that, I was having connection LinkedIn with the person who got selected in last term, because like, the Digital Product School opens their application 3 to 4 times in a year, so you can apply after every 4 months. I applied in July, and the batch was starting in August itself, so I didn't get in July, like, because the application was open for the August cohort, so I applied for the January cohort. And yeah, that's how I got to know from a person who already did the internship at DPS.
Okay. So, let's see if have or we have any other questions in the chat. Okay, I'm not seeing any new question in the chat. Um, okay, I'm seeing this one question. Um, okay, Sahil has asked, have you ever fooled any of your college teachers or anyone in life with the computer/coding?
I don't know, like, it's not still the question I was expecting, but let me try to give you an answer. Like, I wasn't get fooled by any teachers in the school or college, because in the schooling I was not having any. I was not doing any kind of programming, and in college we are, like, having a liberal attendance, so we like, we are not like I was doing internship, so I contacted my HOD ma'am, and she suggested me that yes, you can do in this time, because the lectures were going online and we haven't been contacted by our faculties most of the time, right? In online lectures, you attend the lectures, and maybe the faculty may or may not know you. So yeah, that hasn't happened with me.
Okay, so your college was strict with attendance,
No,
75%
no,
attendance.
no, we don't have that criteria, because
Okay.
my college is government college, and like we, what they say is, if you are doing something other than
Hmm.
college, it should be productive thing, and you should
Yes.
get
Hmm.
like you should be getting something from it, and you should be performing well in your academics. So I was maintaining my academic record very well, so
Hmm.
they didn't stop me in doing things.
Okay. Even in my college, they say that we have 75% criteria, but like most of the time they will settle with 40 to 50%. So if you're doing
Yeah,
something other than like if you're doing something productive, like you mentioned, if you're
yeah.
preparing for government exams, or you are doing coding and you are doing any other internship, so they'll allow. So like it is
Yeah,
flexible in our college too. In
yeah,
most of the private college, they have the 75% criteria.
that's possible, but like some people do manage things with college, it's college attendance as well, and some people do not have to manage with college attendance. So I was in the second part where I don't
Mm,
have to manage with college attendance, because we can do online attendance, and like in offline colleges, like
mm.
from last 1.5 months, I was having continuous mid semester, then after internal viva, then external viva, and then final exams. So in that time, I cannot say them that I would not come because of something. So
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, we do not have any new question in the chat. Okay, so this is a personal question. Like you are doing so many amazing things now, and you are in your pre-final year. You said that you are giving time to placements, you are giving time to open source. So, what are your future goals now? Like, what do you plan on doing after you graduate?
Okay, so as I said, I was not having any programming things in my schooling. So whatever I have learned in now, I have learned in college itself, like college time. So what I got to know that yes, this field is suitable for me. I can go ahead with it. If you explore things in college, you would be sure about your career, that yes, you can do these things in future itself. So yeah, I will go with the technical domain, like I want to be software engineer, and after some time I would like to see myself as a like in the leadership position, where I would be doing a technical management thing, because I am invested in lot of things in my college, like in extracurricular activities as well, and I love management as well as technical. So I would be like doing technical management after some years, but in the initial phase I would be like to have my I would like to see myself as a software engineer.
Okay. Um, hmm, uh, so let's see if we have some questions. Come on, guys, post some questions in the chat. So in like in web development, what is like your favorite tech till now? Like you have
uh,
explored so much.
Till now I have like for my internship I had to explore Angular and React, and for
Hmm.
Moja Global Global's project, I have explored the basics of Vue.js as well. So I would go ahead with React.js because I have worked with React.js more than Angular and Vue.js, and like it's I feel the structure of React and the facilities this provide is quite better. So yeah, it's the preferable one is React.js for me.
Yes, most of my friends who are web developers, they also like they love React. They
Yeah,
they really enjoy, and even like I'm learning React, so I'm also seeing like why this React is so hyped. So we can
yeah.
clearly see that.
I would not say like some of the technologies. Sometimes we think it is overhyped, but it is
Mm,
not in the case of React because I
yes.
have worked with pure HTML, CSS, and JavaScript for
Mm,
like during my initial days. And when I learned
mm,
React, I got to know that why people were transitioning
mm,
from normal HTML plain vanilla JS to React JS because it
mm,
provides a lot many features, lot many functionalities and flexibility to you
mm.
as a web developer.
Yes. That is the most important thing. Even before I shifted to React, I started with some templating engines, like they were similar to like what React is, but React is it's a whole new library, so they it
Yeah,
has a lot of things. And working with templates, like they have proper they have like the proper syntax to write, and that is sometimes very confusing and
yeah, it's
frustrating.
confusing and yeah, frustrated
Mm.
because yeah, React is also an open source library, so many
Mm,
people try to contribute it, and
mm,
it has large community. If you are stuck in anything,
mm,
most of the like in most of the time you would search on Google and you would get your answer on Stack Overflow or on other platforms.
mm,
So having strong community base is something that React is more stronger other than Angular or Vue.
mm. Yes. Um, okay. Mm, there are no new questions in the chat. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm not seeing any new questions pop up in the chat. Okay, React is open source. Yes. So I'm not seeing any new questions in the chat. I think we can end the podcast.
So
So yes, it was very nice talking to you, Janvi, and I wish you all
same
the
here.
very best uh,
Thank
for your
you.
future endeavors. Keep up the good work and keep contributing to open source. Um, and
Also,
guys, yes,
yeah. Also, if like anyone would like to talk, I my DMs would be open, so you can contact me on LinkedIn, and I would be happy to help you.
yes, and I've put the links to Janvi Social in the description, and also like the whole journey of her open source. She has talked about it in one of the blogs. I've also shared that blog in the description. It is an amazing blog. Do read it, guys, and please follow the Decode Cafe Community YouTube channel. We have more such podcasts on the channel, and thank you everyone for being with us.
Thank
Okay,
you.
now bye bye everyone. Thank you for being with us.